CBS Sports presents NBA Basketball, America's Game. CBS Sports coverage of the NBA is brought to you by Honda, who invites you to experience the Accord 4-door at your local Honda dealer. And by Miller Lite. For great taste, there is only one light beer. And by Skin Bracer. It's skin care that feels good. Skin Bracer Aftershave by Menin. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Along with Bill Russell, this is Bob Neal at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. It's another sellout, and they're here to see the Central Division matchup between the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks. Now, of course, the two fellas you saw just moments ago speak for themselves. Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. But, Bill Russell, as you look at this matchup and this ball game tonight, you mentioned that a couple of the best young power forwards in the league might really have a lot more to do with the outcome of the game, or certainly make a big contribution, and that's Charles Oakley and Kevin Willis. First of all, Charles Oakley of the Bulls.
Well, Charles Oakley has taken full advantage of playing with Michael Jordan. The things that he's done and been doing for a couple of years now have important impact on the game. He does a good job of rebounding and playing defense and setting picks. And so he's a very effective player for Chicago Bulls.
And one of the hottest young players for the Atlanta Hawks of recent in the last few games, scoring 20 points, nearly 12 rebounds a game, is the 7-footer, the power forward from Michigan State, Kevin Willis.
Yes, Kevin Willis has had a very interesting career. He's improved steadily and spectacularly, you might say. Earlier this season, they thought maybe he'd be a superstar. And then it seemed as though he may have backed off, but he really didn't. He was just getting his game together, and it's a more mature game now, and he's a very effective player, and I expect in the next year he will be a true superstar.
Now, the Atlanta Hawks are very big and powerful up front, but when they play the Bulls, they don't rebound very well. Only 28 and 29 rebounds, respectively, in their last two games. Why do the Bulls, smaller, get out-rebound the Hawks?
Well, there are two reasons. First of all, height has very little to do with rebounding, because most of the rebounds are taken below the height of the rim. And second, matchups. It's an unexplained thing, but a style of play, some teams can out-rebound you, and another team will out-rebound them, and then you out-rebound that team.
Well, it'll be interesting to see tonight if the Hawks can get back on the rebounding track. The Hawks are going for win number 7 in a row. The Chicago Bulls have won 10 out of the last 14. We'll be back with the opening lineups and the tip-off. But first, back to our studios in Atlanta and Charlie Neal.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. Coming up at halftime, scores and highlights from around the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks, like the Chicago Bears of a year ago, have a music video. We'll show you the making of that video, plus an ode to two of the most exciting players in the NBA today. I'm talking about Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. All that and more coming up at halftime, and Bob and Bill will be back with tonight's starting lineups in just a moment.
The starting lineups at forward: Gene Banks, Charles Oakley. At the center, Dave Corzine, Michael Jordan, of course, and the point guard is John Paxson. The Bulls are coached by Doug Collins in his first year. For the Atlanta Hawks, it's Willis and Wilkins at the forwards. John Koncak, the second-year player, filling in for Tree Rollins, starting at center, his 7th game in a row, as a matter of fact. And the shooting guard is Glenn Doc Rivers. The point guard is Rivers, I should say. And Randy Whitman is the shooting guard. There are refs tonight, Bernie Fryer and Jack Madden. And we're ready to get underway from the Omni. It's a sellout, 16,522. These two teams are tied in the series record. This season, the Bulls lead 2-1. The Hawks won here. The Bulls have won in Chicago.
You're saying that both these teams travel, they don't travel that well?
Apparently not. The Bulls just played yesterday, by the way, in Chicago, beating Dallas. Wilkins missing, and the rebound going to the Bulls.
Well, he had to get that one out of his system to get ready to play.
In the 3 games, Jordan leads Wilkins in scoring with a total of 109 to 105. Nice pass to a wide-open Dave Corzine.
And that's one of the good things that Charles Oakley has developed as part of his game.
Willis, off the glass, Kevin Willis. He's been scoring about 20 points a game of recent.
The two guys we just mentioned have had impact on the game already.
Oakley, 34 with the ball right now. Kevin Willis, two that Bill Russell's talking about. Corzine down low to Banks. High Archer gets it over Dominique Wilkins.
That'll bring rain.
4-2 Bulls. Opening moments from the Omni in Atlanta. Willis, jump hook. Oh, rattles it home. Well, Bill, your crystal ball was working well as Oakley and Willis have both had impact so far. Jordan with the ball now, playing with a sore right hip. He had to leave the game twice against Dallas yesterday. He's also playing with a head cold. Corzine's open off the glass.
It must be soft glass in this building. Everybody's using it.
Opening moments of play, first quarter, 6-4. Bulls lead.
I was talking to Doug Collins this afternoon, and he was saying that he likes to play an up-tempo game, but not with these guys. He wants to play more of a slow-down game, make them play half court, because he doesn't think that they can run a full 48 minutes with the Hawks.
Oakley beat Willis down the floor. A good pass from John Paxson, and now it's 8-4. Chicago out by 4 early in Atlanta. The Atlanta Hawks on a streak.
He feels the major difference is when you go to the bench. The Hawks are a lot tougher in a full-court game with their bench. A little foul someplace there.
Foul away from the ball. And it's Oakley. Make that John Paxson was holding away. There's Doug Collins, first year as head coach in the NBA.
Interesting, the two referees. Bernie Fry used to be a player, which is rare. I mean, a player goes to referee.
Gene Banks in the rebound. The Bulls out rebounding the Hawks already once again, particularly on the defensive board. Jordan in the middle, he's missing. But he gets his own rebounds in reverse. Corzine was asleep, didn't see the pass. Here's Banks. Off the back of Randy Whitman, it'll belong to Chicago with a new 24-second clock. The Bulls leading 8-4.
Nobody wants it. And the other referee, all the local fans are all upset because I think 9 of the last 10 games he refereed here, the Hawks lost.
Talking about Jack Madden, who lives in this area. And it's 10-4.
And only local fans would notice that kind of stuff.
Yes,
That's local fans everywhere, though. Good move by Doc Rivers. Good penetration.
And Jordan opened the scoring with 2. Wilkins still hasn't scored for Atlanta.
And here goes Whitman down the middle and early release because Corzine might have gotten to it if he hadn't released it so soon. Good move by Doc Rivers.
There's Mike Fratello, coach of the year in almost everybody's poll last year, 4th year with Atlanta, 39 years old. He's also, you see the nice dress, the blue coat, he's a vice president of the Hawks.
Vice president in charge of vice.
And coaching and building a young franchise. This team on a streak. They won 6 in a row, going for 7. They won 7 out of the last 8. It is now 10-7. Bulls, 8:47 to go, first quarter. Oakley against Willis. Quick turnaround.
Now, when we look at the half-court game now, there's very interesting matchups on the defense as far as I'm concerned. Jordan will not guard Whitman because they run him in too many picks, and the coach doesn't want him to take that beat. But then you have Whitman on him. And what you try to do with a guy like Jordan is make him play defense as much as possible, maybe take some of the punch out of him.
Jordan and Doc Rivers are really battling down low. Doc Rivers is on Jordan right now. They were really struggling. Now the double team on Jordan. Shot clock to 7. Paxson from long range. Rebound Wilkins. Hawks running. It's Wilkins against the world. All the way. Dominique Wilkins.
World hero.
Yeah, the world was undermanned with only 3 players back. It is 10-9. Hawks trail by 1.
See, with guys like Wilkins and Michael Jordan, the double team doesn't help a lot of times because they play such a vertical game, and now the double team helps horizontally.
Jordan comes off the screen, gets his 4th point now. 12-9, Chicago. Rivers can hit it from there. Does. Doc Rivers, averaging 13.5 points a game.
Would I think that you've seen a lot of Hawk games?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Oakley with the lay-in. It's interesting, all the times on the road. Here's Willis, open, over Corzine. And Doc Rivers rebounding. And the Hawks now getting back into the rebounding game. At one point, it was Chicago 5, Atlanta nothing on the rebound board. But the Hawks now have 3 rebounds. Paxson good long-range shooter. It is 16-13 Chicago Bulls. Dominique Wilkins missing, rebound Oakley.
Dominique's been sort of a slump the last 6 or 7 games. He hasn't shot well. He scored, but he hasn't shot well. He's only around 40% the last 6 or 7 games.
We'll be back in just a moment to the Omni in Atlanta with 6:28 to go. First quarter, 16-13 Bulls.
Jordan here shows you what it means moving without the ball. Now here's a pick. He's going to run Whitman into another pick here, right here. That's how he got open. Now that's a good example of good movement without the ball. Now what Whitman just went through is what the Bulls are trying to avoid with him, with Michael Jordan. They're trying to keep Michael Jordan from having to run into that kind of stuff.
Let's take a look at the TBS efficiency rating. As you know, it's the positive contributions minus the negatives for the players. And anything above a 20 is very good. Below 10, not so good. Let's look at Jordan and Wilkins, since they're the stars of this game here tonight. First of all, Michael Jordan has a very good efficiency rating, and he leads Dominique Wilkins 18-9 to 13-1. Jordan leads his team, and this is a statistic a lot of people don't know about, in block shots and steals. You think of Jordan with his 37-3, but he is a very complete player.
He's an outstanding player in a lot of ways. That because he came from he's really well coached in college, and so he's fundamentally a very sound player and a young man with just great ability.
And because of the Hawks, who have a superior team in most other positions to Chicago, Dominique Wilkins not asked to do as many things as Jordan.
And what Dominique has done, he's carried his team up until the last part of last season, and the team was able to help pick up and help carry itself. And when you try to carry a team, you're not going to be as efficient as a player that's part of a real good team. I think that he's a much better player now than he was 2 years ago.
Free Rollins now in for contact. Wilkins spinning off the glass. Tip. Missed and then stripped away, but Rollins is fouled. Free Rollins, coming off a broken right toe, has been increasing his playing time about the last 3 games.
Now here's that good shot from Dominique, almost a good shot. And here's Free staying with it, and there's the foul.
Gene Banks. Check that. They gave that foul to Dave Corzine, not Gene Banks. It's Dave Corzine. Let's check the Chicago foul situation. Oakley with 1, Corzine 1, and Paxson has 1 foul. And 17-15 now. 6:11 to go first quarter.
I always tell the foul on, that's the guy that dribbles. Who, me? I didn't draw blood. Why did they call that on me?
Oakley out high, out of Virginia Union. Second-year player, had a real impact. Went to Cleveland, but then Keith Lee came to Chicago, which was a nice deal, as Michael Jordan hits it again. Michael Jordan now with 6 points. Dominique Wilkins, by the way, 2, if you're keeping track of their individual scoring duel. Wilkins comes back. He has 4.
That was a pretty good shot.
Lead. Beauty.
Now, with a guy like Michael Jordan, you're not going to stop him one-on-one. And what you should do is try to make him have to work for everything he gets. But you shouldn't double team him too much unless you're going to double team him early and make him give it up. If you don't, you end up with guys shooting layups.
Off the double team, Jordan hits Oakley. Now to Corzine into the Banks with only 2 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Banks knew what to do with it. And so a guy like Michael Jordan, if you don't double team him the right way, he can really hurt you in a lot of ways. And his efforts will generate 60 or 70 points instead of 30 or 40, which if you play him one-on-one and make him get no assists.
Doc Rivers missing. The Bulls rebounding and running, leading by 4. Backs into Jordan against Doc Rivers. They've cleared the side, but Whitman's ready to double team, and there he comes. He leaves Paxson. Paxson gets the ball from Jordan, and that's what he does so very well.
And that's what hurts you when you do that. And you see that double team, he was able to get a good pass off and a good shot. And he gets an assist there, and that's when I made my generating points, which you got to cut down on. Make him work to get his one-on-one, and his efficiency rating will go down also if you do that.
Certainly underrated for his passing ability. A great scorer, has 4 assists a game. They could have many more if he wasn't called on to share, to carry such a burden. Blocked from behind by Jordan. He started this break, but then Whitman broke it up, and here comes Banks. Doc Rivers back. Hawks had
Good
3
hustle
players
defensive
back.
for the Hawks.
You bet. Wilkins off the glass. Dominique. He has 6.
That's a very important shot to make because that compounds the impact of that good defensive play.
Well, a scoring battle already underway in the first quarter. Jordan with 6, Wilkins with 6. Doc Rivers, however, leads all scorers with 7. 23-19 Chicago. Paxson open again. Paxson is really filling it up. Now, Mike Fratello at practice today, Bill, was talking to the teams about if you got to leave someone you're doubling, obviously somebody's open, and Paxson's their guy. They were hoping he wouldn't be hitting that well from a Hawks point of view, but he's filling it up.
When the defense rotates, you got to make sure that you rotate enough that Paxson is covered. So he's not one of the guys that's left open because there's always going to be a guy left open when you double team.
And Kevin Willis with a foul battling Oakley in the backcourt. Paxson 3 for 3 from the perimeter. You don't see this very often. We talked about this matchup. We didn't think we'd see it in the backcourt.
Now this is not a good foul. Backcourt with Oakley with the ball. The best you're going to come up with is a foul, and that's not very good.
Look at that, Chicago shooting the lights out, 12 for 17. Hawks at 50%, 8 of 16. For the Bulls, by the way, that's 71% early on. Tipped away by Rivers. It will belong to Chicago. 9 seconds on the shot clock. End of the ball game. Cliff Levingston. Kevin Willis gets a rest. 52 Levingston for the Atlanta Hawks. He's really the Hawks' 6th man.
And so far in the half-court defense, the Hawks have been just a little slow, a half a step slow in their rotation. So they're not coming up with real good defensive plays as often as they maybe could have if they had a little better time.
Paxson with a fake out high. Oakley bought his own teammates fake, threw the ball down low before Paxson could get to it. A turnover. It's 25-19 Chicago. 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Hawks ball. Off the screen, Whitman into Rollins. He's fouled.
I think that when you make passes to a guy on the move, very rarely should the pass be below the waist. And if you're going to be below the waist, it should be a bounce pass with reverse spin on it, so it's going to jump up in his hands.
That's a second foul on Oakley. 25-19 Chicago, 2:56 to go. First quarter from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. Family's anti-drug campaign by wearing a Don't Foul Out pin. Send $1 in a self-addressed stamped envelope to Don't Foul Out, P.O. Box 5418, New York, New York, 10185. 2:56 to go in the first quarter. 25-19, Chicago leading a sellout crowd. 16,522 at the Omni. The last 3 times these teams have met, the Bulls have won 2, the Hawks have won 1. Most people are interested in this. And as you see, the Jordan Wilkins, by the way, if you add those up for Jordan, it's 109 points. For Wilkins, 105.
Well, you know, that can be a misleading situation. The Hawks are not a better team when Dominique gets that many points. But the Bulls are a better team when Jordan gets that many points because the Hawks have guys like Whitman and Willis and Doc Rivers, the guys that can put the ball in the hoop. And if Dominique shoots too much, he doesn't help them as much as when Jordan shoots, you might say too much.
And Brad Sellers, the youngster from Ohio State, is in for Charles Oakley. Wears number 6. He's 7 feet tall. Started at center for a while, but coming off the bench of recent. Corzine's moved back in there for the veterans experience. Here's Sellers from long range. Tipped away by Tree Rollins.
It's going to be on Dave Corzine. Little hand in the back there.
You bet, loose ball foul. Corzine picks up his second. Oakley also has 2 for Chicago.
That's the grimace I was talking about. See, some guys smile when they grimace, but...
And we're about to get another substitution. Granville Waiters, also from Ohio State, as a matter of fact, but he's been around the league a little bit longer. Coming in, he's 6'11". Corzine gets a rest.
He also started a while earlier in the year, first of the year league.
Chicago
season was young and
been rattling. They've been playing well with this lineup, starting Banks, Oakley, Corzine, Jordan, Paxson. Interestingly enough, they're getting good time off the bench from Sellers and Waiters. So whatever works.
It's very important to get guys with the attitude it takes to come off the bench. They're not disgruntled or anything, but happy to play in that situation. It's very important to have guys like that.
Time remaining in the first quarter. Bulls lead by 4. Nice bounce pass. Stripped away from Jordan by Randy Whitman. Nice defensive play by Whitman.
Now here goes Jordan down the middle. Now that was a desperation play by Whitman because Jordan had him.
And Jordan now with 8 points as he hits from the perimeter. 27-21. Bulls leading the Hawks with 2:02 to go first quarter. Oh, that basket will not count. There was a foul away from the ball against Atlanta.
Moving pick.
Tree Rollins. First personal of the game.
He only moved it about a yard.
That is a moving pick if Tree Rollins moves into you. 240 pounds, 7'1". Sedell Threet entering the ball game. And Mike McGee coming in for the Atlanta Hawks. So there's Mike McGee. Threet with the ball now with number 3. And by the way, Threet has the Rick Barry-itis tonight. He has laryngitis.
He can't talk except if he gets open. I think he can yell for the ball.
I'll bet he can. Just like the aforementioned Mr. Barry, who's with us tonight but not speaking. Gene Banks bumped by Rollins, no whistle. Down to McGee, can't control it. It'll be Bulls ball. Both these teams had been running the transition game very well and finishing effectively until then.
On that last play by Glenn Rivers, good vision, good intentions, bad results.
Bulls have 5 breaks on 8 points. Hawks have 9 points out of 6 breaks. Here's Sellers. Second straight perimeter miss for Brad Sellers, the rookie from Ohio State. 6-point Bulls lead. 15 to go.
You know, I think that Michael Jordan maybe really not extending himself on his jumps because he's passed off a good pass. That's a good pass.
Wilkins misses, but Rollins with the rebound and jam.
As I say, I think that Jordan is passing off a lot more on the jump shots than he normally would because he could get over those. So he may be favoring his leg a little bit.
Yes, he has a hip pointer suffered against Dallas yesterday. Off the glass, Michael Jordan.
Look what I found. Must be soft glass here. Must be soft glass.
He called it. I heard him say bank shot.
No, he was saying banks get open.
43 seconds to go in the quarter. Wilkins with the penetration and the finger roll. And missing loose ball foul. It's going to be against the Hawks.
Must be 34.
The man who's arguing is Cliff Livingston. Let's see if that's who they call it in. No, it's Tree Rollins. Livingston thought he was guilty, though. John Koncak set to come back into the ballgame, by the way. That's the second personal on Tree Rollins. We have 38 seconds to go first quarter. 29-23, Chicago. There's John Koncak. Second year from SMU. 7th straight start. Hawks are undefeated since Koncak's been starting. I'll bet his agent is keeping track of that, don't you?
Well, if he's from SMU, he's not going to be able to play football for a while.
I knew this was coming. Brad Sellers finds Threet over Koncak. Threet came here from Philadelphia. And the Bulls for Steve Coulter. And Threet has played well. Chicago off the bench. Plays about 20 minutes a game. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. See the time on the lower right. 31-23 Chicago. Hawks in need of a basket here.
Now, did Threet get pushed or did he fall? But it looked like downfield blocking.
Seems to be shaken up, as a matter of fact.
One thing the Bulls have really improved on this year, let's take a look at this replay. He looks like he tripped over his own man, Brad Sellers. One thing the Bulls have really improved on this year has been their defense. They don't score very much. If games over 115, 120 points, they're hard-pressed in those kind of games. So they like low-scoring games. Because they can't play defense with anyone, but they don't think they have the versatility to play a wide-open game when you get 125, 130 points.
Sedell Threet picks up the personal. That was the 5th team foul penalty situation. Dwight Rivers at the line.
And he got his hand stepped on for good measure on top of everything else.
Sedell Threet holding his left hand right now as he talks to Mike McGee. And Rivers gets them both. There's 4 seconds remaining in the quarter. Backcourt pressure from Atlanta. Granville Waiters missing from very long distance. At the end of 1, it's Chicago 31, Atlanta Hawks 25. From the Omni in Atlanta, sellout 16,500. Bill Russell and Bob Neal with you. 31-25, the Bulls leading. Reminder, coming up at halftime, Charlie Neal will be along with all the scores, highlights, and news from around the NBA tonight. An ode to Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. A look at the beauty of those two players set to music, plus the making of the Atlanta Hawks video. Have you seen that yet, Bill?
No. After I watched the Chicago Bears, I thought I'd square off of videos for a while.
If you've seen the Bears music video, you've sort of seen the Hawks. None of the Bears have the moves of Dominique Wilkins. Unfortunately, their highlights weren't exactly as exciting as this one. Second quarter just underway. 3. Rebound McGee. To Atlanta from L.A. L.A. got the rights to Billy Thompson. Draft day. Doc Rivers, Mike McGee in the backcourt. It's Koncak, Livingston, and Willis. Wilkins out of the ball game at the moment for the Hawks. Rivers missing badly. Has 9 in the game, though, and here comes 3. Nice pass to Sellers. Mike McGee rebounding well for the Hawks. Livingston. Nice finesse over Waiters.
And Waiters is speaking to the referee. The referee's not speaking back, fortunately.
31-27. Hawks trail by 4. 1 minute elapsed in the second quarter.
Almost a good defensive play.
Mike McGee's coming here playing very well. You know, he's been playing on a sore right knee, missed 5 games. It looks like his knee is feeling pretty well. It's going to belong to the Atlanta Hawks. Elston Turner, by the way, is in for the Bulls.
He passed that pain on to Turner on that play. There's Gus Williams.
The Wizard to Mike McGee. Gus Williams, number 1. McGee with a pick and roll to Willis. And a jam.
Excellent run, give and go. Excellent.
And it's a 2-point game. The Hawks
Because if you don't
trailed
time
by
that play,
8.
if you don't time that play just perfect, it doesn't work. Then it really doesn't work.
Charles Oakley with 2 fouls is back in the ball game. Waiters, number 3 is 3. And the perimeter shot's not falling for Chicago, and the Hawks defensively rebounding. Williams with a fall away.
Good hustle by Chris Livingston. Stayed with that one.
Fratello calling plays. You see Gus Williams looking over his right shoulder. Gus with the play now. Hawks can tie or go ahead if they choose a 3-pointer. Gus Williams penetrating, finding a stone wall. Livingston, better luck off the glass. Cliff Livingston.
22nd timeout by the Bulls.
And the Hawks have been going to the board with enthusiasm. It's tied at 31. 9:47 to go in the second quarter.
I asked Kevin Willis, so why are these guys out rebounding you guys so often? He says, I don't know, but they're not going to do it tonight.
And in fact, you're looking there at 2 of the Turner Broadcasting executives. On the left was
Yeah,
Bob Wessler, on the right, Ted Turner.
Let's take a look at this under the board work. Cliff Livingston staying right with it. And eventually coming up with it.
Bill, just reminds me of what you said on our open, that it's not necessarily height, not necessarily anything else, particularly if you have enthusiasm and position and technique.
Position is the first thing, and then enthusiasm.
Yeah, enthusiasm without position. What is that? Something about liberty and the pursuit of...
Right.
Well, enthusiasm without position. There you go. Points off rebounds. And you see the Hawks out by 6. Tied at 31.
For rebounding, determination would be probably the best word to use. You have, I think Moses Malone is probably the best example of that.
Oakley.
Air ball.
Shot a 10-footer about 12 feet. Hawks can take the lead. They had trailed by 8 points in the first quarter. Willis against Oakley. Off the glass, Kevin Willis. Now the Hawks have their first lead. It's by 2. Kevin Willis has 8 points. Elston Turner with the feed to Granville Waiters to 3. Brad Sellers calling for it, but Koncak.
Well, he shot about 4 times over there by himself. Hasn't come up with anything. So they say, well, you may call, but your call will not be answered. Illegal defense, isn't it?
It is against the Atlanta Hawks' first one. It'll be the ball out of bounds on the near side, and Corzine comes into the ball game for Granville Waiters. Well, the Hawks bench came in and played quite well.
And they call that on Mike McGee. Kind of got away from his man defensively. Mike McGee's operating under a lot of pressure. He's been at it 3 or 4 minutes and hasn't shot yet.
And he is a shooter. Corzine. Rebound McGee.
He's got a lot of
rebounding.
He do a good job on the boards, but that won't suffice.
That's his third rebound. Here's contact from the baseline. Oakley. Well, that's why he's second in the NBA in rebounds. Has 12.5 a game. What a powerful rebounder. 6'9", 245 pounds. Hawks with a lead by 2.
And Brad Sellers tries it again.
They're not going to pass it to him next time he's open either. Nice feed to Willis. And he may have moved the basket there. We may have to check that.
What are they going to call here? Let's take another look at that.
Willis grabbed the rim because he did not want to get undercut by Elston Turner, I think is what they
see here. What's well, they're calling something. I see the hand up of the referee.
We're going to
used to be a
we'll
technical foul. It used to be a technical foul for holding the rim, but they've changed that rule.
They called it a turnover. It was not a foul because he was protecting himself as Oakley scored. So it was simply a turnover, not a foul. Great. Tied at 33, 7:43 to go, second quarter. Willis double team. Shot clock to 10. Willis really getting pounded down there by Oakley. Gus Williams dribbled it right out of bounds.
Yeah, he made the corner, but the ball didn't.
Here comes Michael Jordan back into the ball game. He has 10 points. He's 5 for 7 from the field. By the way, in case you're keeping up with the Wilkins scoring battle, Wilkins has 6 and Jordan has 10. And this rebound to Kevin Willis. Willis' first rebound of the ball game. League rebounder for the Hawks, Mike McGee.
You know, Gordon guarding a guy like Michael Jordan can be very not only embarrassing, but can be physically painful. If he runs into just a stack of picks, well, he can hold nice hands there.
Jordan leads his team in steals. Behind the back to Oakley. Michael Jordan with a steal and an assist on the same play.
The defensive play was good hands. The offensive play was great imagination.
McGee had tried to post Jordan. The Hawks waited just a bit too long to try to get him the ball because Jordan had turned the corner and he stole it behind the back. And the foul as Koncak shoots. Either Sellers or Corzine. It is on Brad Sellers. We have a timeout on the floor with 6:35 to go first half. The Bulls lead by 2. So half a game back. They'll be at New York and Patrick Ewing tomorrow night. And my friend Bill Russell will be there with Skip Carey in the Big Apple. Is Skip up there getting the town ready for you tonight?
Oh, yes. He's closing it down tonight so we'll have complete control tomorrow. Now, here's another look at that play when Michael Jordan shows the good hands there. It comes out anticipation, like good hands again. Now, this is a great imagination, not only to be able to do it physically, but to think about it. Just to come up with that concept. To try it.
And he held his mouth just right, I thought, for the camera shot. Turnovers, by the way, Atlanta 6, Chicago 3. Second quarter, the Bulls are only shooting 22%. They're 2 of 9. Thus, the Hawks come back to trail by just 1 point, 35-34, with Koncak at the line. Sellers, by the way, had the foul prior to the timeout. And we're tied at 35. Three, Jordan in the backcourt. Banks, Oakley, Corzine. Up front, Oakley. He's having himself a pretty good night himself. That's 10 for Charles Oakley to match Jordan's point total.
But Jordan gets a lot of his in the last quarter, so he's just warming up.
McGee from the perimeter. He'll be happier now.
Yes, now Mike's back in his element.
6th year out of the University of Michigan. Here's 3-2, Banks. And got a nice bounce.
That's sometimes better than being good.
Banks has 7. He's been playing well of late. As a matter of fact, the Bulls' record has improved since Banks came on. Started the last 15 games. Wilkins back in for Atlanta, as you see. It was stripped away. Dominique just keeps working. Gets that nice heavy spin bank shot.
You might say Dominique sometimes is single-minded. He made up his mind to get that shot off.
He has 8.
And in.
10. Dominique only 4 of 9 from the field. That's matching his recent shooting slump percentage. Jordan against Rivers from long range. Got the good bounce, the shooter's bounce. Out of bounds, it'll belong to Chicago. Crowd didn't like it. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Bill and I will be selecting the Miller Lite player of the game. 19 seconds on the Chicago shot clock.
Let's see if we can see how good a call the referee made. There's a penetration by Jordan. No, we couldn't see exactly.
The answer is no, we can't see it. We tried, though.
We
Shot
came
clock
close.
to 10. Jordan against McGee. Stripped away by McGee, but he fouled him.
You see the grimace on McGee's face?
Mike McGee, his first, the team first.
Mike Fratello, what a great job he's done coaching the Hawks in his 4th year. It's tied at 39. Jordan against McGee. Jordan ineffective from the perimeter in this part of the ball game. Rivers all the way, misses the layup, he's fouled.
And that's the toughest kind of fast break to stop when you get a good rebounding guard and they get the rebound on the move. And guys are playing good defense. That means they're in motion. Then the fast break is really hard to stop.
Paxson picks up his 2nd foul.
Because the key to good transition basketball is that defensively you have to be on the move, and offensively you have to be on the move. Especially defensively, you have to be playing with your feet and not your hands. If you're playing with your feet, then you are in motion. All you have to do is change direction. That gives you an extra half step on the offense when they try to make the change the defense.
Rivers playing very well tonight. Yes, I do. I do. I wrote it down. I'll read it back in the 3rd quarter as though it were my idea. Rivers with 11 points and 4 assists. He's having himself a fine basketball game. Hawks by 2, 4:34 to go, first half. Along with Bill Russell, this is Bob Neal. Rick Barry with a sore throat tonight.
On the pass off. Now Oakley feels bad because if it had been Rick, he would be shooting 2 free throws because he would have been going to the hoop. He always showed me that. When in doubt, shoot.
2nd personal on Kevin Willis.
And if you ever hear the whistle, fire the pill.
Paxson off the screen. Rivers fell down.
Good push off.
Around it.
McGee pushed his own man to get that one.
McGee with his 4th rebound.